Hello everyone and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. We're at the corner of my garden. We're in the main garden and we're going to start with the redesign so that we get a good start next year. Now that we're on the back end of our season and things are starting to die back. Now I got some stuff still in here, y'all. We are not going to mess anything that's still growing. But since we're on the back end of the season, there are a few beds that are done that I can go ahead and get them removed and start setting up this new design for the garden for next year. And y'all, I am super excited. I'm going to move some things into this space. I'm going to change up some colors. And guess what? You're coming with me as always. This is the first area that we're going to work in. Now, I got to be careful because I don't want to lose my Brussels sprouts. But everything else over here, y'all, this is done. The corn's gone, thanks to the raccoons. And then I only have a few beans. We're going to get them out of here. I got this bed right here that's completely empty already. I got a couple pots, but I can move them anywhere. And then I got some things over here behind me that I'm going to need to pull up, saving the roots so I can transplant them somewhere else. But I figured this is a good space to start in while the rest of the garden's finishing off the season. So let's just get to it and start figuring out how we're going to clean this up and not lose our plants. So before I can take this bed completely out, I got to think about my Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts take a long time to get established, and then they start putting on the little sprouts. And it looks like I have some burgundy ones and some plain ones left over here. But I need to remove these, y'all, because this bed is coming out. So I'm going to see if I can dig down really, really deep and not disturb the roots too much. That's my goal anyway. And my goal is to relocate this plant. So I tried to get as many of the roots as possible. Y'all, I might be killing it. Let's just be honest. I might have killed the plant by doing what I just did, but I need to relocate this. So we'll just put it in that right there. We'll get this next one out. I got big plans for this space next year. And so I better take advantage of this time. So in the spring, when the season comes, y'all, I'm going to be ready. I am going to be ready. Whoa, those roots are going far. I don't think that's that root. That's a tree root. And it's got little bitty baby Brussels already on it. So hopefully I didn't mess anything up too bad. All right. There are my 3 plants that we're going to have to find a new home for. Oh, I got an idea. I know where we're going to put them. I mean, as you can see, this bed is done. And it's been done for a long time. So we're going to go ahead and remove some of this stuff. The trees, right? The peanuts, the rock. Why is there a rock? Anyway, we're going to clean this bed out and we are going to relocate those Brussels sprouts to right here. Oh man, there's grass in here too? No, we can't have that. I don't have any plans on changing this space right here. So that's why the Brussels sprouts, I think, would be perfect right here. There we go. Got it out. Got to get the trees out. I tried to grow melons right here. That didn't work because the summer squash was so big it just overtook that space. But we already got our drip irrigation in here as well. What this bed needs though, this bed needs soil. So let's grab it some soil and make this bed happy again. Replant those 3 Brussels sprouts over here and let's keep moving. So one of the things that we're going to do is reuse as much soil as we can. And I have some here that I'm going to reuse. We're going to add a bag of Happy Frog. I'm wasting my soil. Get back in there. I don't recall adding really any soil to this bed since I set it up at the beginning of the season. Your soil levels are always going to drop, especially when you first set a bed up. This bag was super, super wet though. I'm not expecting this to settle at all. I believe we're going to get the height that it's going to be just because it is so wet. I had to go get my wagon just to get it over here. It's soaked, which is interesting because it hasn't really rained here in forever. But I guess it's sitting just in the right spot. Here we go. Since I'm setting up a new bed, I always like to put granular fertilizer in. Mix it in. And you could just put the granular fertilizer in the spot that you're working on. That's why I just went down the center of the bed, because my plan is to put those Brussels sprouts right down the center. We're going to put one right there. Oh, I got to dig a big hole. These are some big transplants. I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put one down here. No rhyme, no reason, just because. That one's not in the center though. Here we go. And then right here is the center. And since I'm transplanting, I got my Mykos. I'm putting one of these large cups in each hole. Now you want the Mykos to touch your roots. So let's make sure we get this in there. Let's make sure it's happy. That real long root, let's make sure we get it under the ground. Let's get the weeds off. I don't need to transplant weeds. And in all honesty, y'all, it just might be happier over here. I think this is a better spot for it. But this spot just wasn't available earlier this year. Put our water line back in. I like doing my water lines like this because I can move it and change it and do it however I want. I could have put several individual ones going across, but that would have been more cuts, y'all, and I didn't want to cut it. I do have videos out there how I put my water lines in. So if you're ever interested, you can check some of those videos out. All right, so I got the water focused just in the middle here. Now, let's get back over there and finish cleaning out that other area. But at least we got the Brussels sprouts transplanted to a new space. Now, let's get back over there. All right, I got the water lines out. I got most of the weeds out and the dead plants. And I need to reuse as much of this soil as I can. I don't want to have to start from scratch and filling one of my beds up. So we are going to transfer as much of this soil as we can into the wheelbarrow so we can reuse this soil. So let me bring that wheelbarrow in and let me start digging. Wondering if I need to get the real shovel. And then I don't have to be all stooped over. So this wooden bed has been in place a long time. This is the second wooden bed I've put in a matter of, I don't know, 10 years or so. It's still in halfway decent shape, but I'm taking it out because we're going to replace it with metal in this space right here. What I wanted to point out is that even though I got this light fluffy soil on top, because I've always used potting mix in my garden, as I'm digging down, I only got down maybe 4 inches and it's hard as a rock. So anything that had deep roots, y'all, it wasn't going down. I mean, it's hard. So I'm gonna dig down as far as I can to get as much dirt or soil as I can get out of this bed. But I am not gonna dig through that really hard, compacted soil that's in the last, I don't know, couple inches of the bed. And then we're gonna get this out of here and repaper or put more barrier down in this space. So underneath this bed, I got to talk about what's underneath all of these layers. I have paper, and I've been using paper on top of paper for many, many years now. But underneath the paper, y'all, there's some gravel. And underneath that gravel, y'all, there's some wood planks. So over the last 17, 18 years, I've been gardening in this space, and I've been changing the different media for walking paths. I am not pulling those wooden boards up. I'm not pulling that pea gravel out. I'm not pulling that paper up. Y'all, we're going on top of all of that when I get as much soil out of this bed as I can. And we'll move this out and get it out the way. So I'm just lightly scraping on top here just to get the loose soil. And there are tons of vines that have made their way in here because I didn't paper the whole area. I papered a little piece here, a little piece there, or weed barrier, I should say. A little here, a little there, at a time where we're going to do the whole area at once, which should help with those vines and weeds coming in from the sides. I am not trying to dig down. I'm just raking it all to the side, making it easier for me to scoop up. And then this amazing soil that you see is going to be up under the weed barrier. And y'all, I still have a wasp nest behind me here. I'm going to try to work around it. I'm not ready to try to disturb those wasps. That keeps me from working in this area. So let's see. Oh, and I forgot, y'all. I actually stapled the fabric to the bed itself. I forgot I did that. Here we go. And the wood underneath, y'all, I can tell that it's all rotting out because it's all spongy, but it's just going to have to be there. Okay. I'm going to clean this area up behind me here. So when I put paper down, I want to paper this whole area at once. And I will have to rerun all of my drip irrigation to this space. But for now, I'm just going to cut it off because it's back there with those bees. I'm not going over there. So I got it turned off. And I'm going to try to smooth this out a little bit too, to kind of use this soil to help level this area. And we're going to go take care of that stuff over there. This is the next bed that we're going to have to get out of this space here. And I am growing rhubarb over here. And I started these from seeds, 3 years ago, indoors. I'm so proud of them. So I don't want to lose them as I'm trying to redesign this space. So I'm going to do the same thing, hopefully, with the rhubarb that I did with the Brussels sprouts. So let's get this area cleaned up. So over the years, as I expanded my garden, one of the things that I didn't do was take into consideration the future. I added a bed here. I added a row of beds there. Didn't think about the sun. I just kept going in the direction I was going. But as I am designing this space this year, y'all, I'm keeping all of that in mind, all of it. I want to make sure that I'm setting my garden up for, okay, not 25 years, but you know what I mean. I don't want to have to keep redesigning and redesigning. So I'm trying to take into account, where's the sun? At what time of the day does the sun hit certain areas? All of that is coming into play as I redesign over here. I did the same thing in my orchard area, and I am very happy with the layout and how the sun moves and the spacing between beds. Like right now, I can't even get in between these two beds because they're too close. So I'm keeping all of that in mind as I redesign this space as well. The one thing about the space we're in right now is that, y'all, I'm in the shade. I am in the shade over here till about noon, which isn't great for some plants, but for others, they're very happy with it. So I have to really consider and think about what I put over here because of that. Y'all, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this out, but I'm gonna try. And so as I'm redesigning and getting my beds off, the ground and up, 11 inches, 17 inches, whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna give me more options on how deep my plants can be, in addition to what's going on with the sun. So let me work on getting these plants out. Wish me luck. And I will bring you back once I have them out, if I can get them out. Because this bed is going to have the same issue as that other bed. When you get down to the bottom of that bed, y'all, it's hard as a rock. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get around it, but we're going to try. Without breaking my tools, that is. All right, I'll bring you back in a minute. Maybe I can get one out with you on camera. Let's see. Let's see how we do. Oops, that's not the answer. I just broke it. Oh well, let's keep trying though. Let's keep trying. I grabbed the wrong piece of that plant, y'all. I might pay for that. Let's see. Okay, there's one. I broke a piece of it off right here. Hopefully it'll come back next year. I got most of it. All right, we'll work on the other one and we'll get the soil out and I will bring you back. Okay, I got 3 beds out. They're right there. 1, 2, and 3. And I tried to level the ground as best I could. I know it's not right here, but I got to get that bed out before I can really take care of that spot. But everywhere else, I believe I've leveled as well as I'm going to level. And I took care of the wasp nest right here so that I wouldn't get stung, but there it is. So I was able to get that out so I can start putting the barrier down into this space right here. All right, let's go work on the barrier next. Okay, let me show you where we are. I've moved this little container here that I put a lot of my garden supplies in. We've moved that over out the way from this space right here. And I still need to finish cleaning up this space right here. I've cut the fabric into 3 11-foot sheets because I got 11 feet from here to the bed that I can't take out just yet. So we went all the way up to the side of that bed so I can have some nice, complete, solid rows versus it being piecemealed. I have one more to do, but before I can do it, I got to clean up this back area. And that's what I'm doing now. The good thing by doing this project right now at this time, y'all, I mean, the best thing about this is that in the spring, I'm not going to have to do this. One of the other things is that I had to do this and then I had to wait, y'all. I wanted to make sure nothing was going to crawl from under here and get me. So I waited. I gave all of the rodents and anything else, creepy crawlies, anything else I got, time to find a new home. I'm still scared to put my hand underneath some of this, y'all. Y'all, I had to get creative. I tied a bamboo stick to one of my little stakes there. You do what you gotta do, right? I've been meaning to clean this space up for so long. So now it's getting cleaned out. My plan is to create a walking path right here versus it being up against the window. Might as well get the trash away from over here, because that's what that is, trash. So as I mentioned, there's wood that's starting to rot out, pea gravel on top of the wood. Y'all, lots of different ways of doing it. Uh-oh, that wasn't right. Didn't mean to do that. It's like every year I got better and better paper. I started figuring things out, and now I know exactly what paper I want. I know exactly how I want to do this, which is great, because this time when I do the garden, y'all, this is the last time for now that I'm going to remodel the garden, or redesign, I should say. But at least we're doing it with my years of experience. Okay. All right. We getting there. Y'all, before I really understood the sun, I created a little flower bed right here on this side, and no morning sun, and all of the evening sun was blocked by the rest of the garden. But y'all, I didn't know any better. I didn't even know about the sun at the time and how important it is to understand how the sun acts in your area. So now we're in a good spot. I don't need to put anything in the middle of this paper because it's a walking area. And if I put a staple in there, it could let something come up and around that staple. So there's no reason to. All right, y'all. I think I got it now. I got to clean up. But this is honestly for the area of the garden that we are going to redo. I just did a quarter of it. That's a quarter of it already. And I still got 3/4 to go. But at least we're starting to get it cleaned out. So when I get ready to come back over here with all of the beds and stuff, I'm not going around junk. The paper's already going to be down, which is going to make things super easy when I'm ready to start bringing the beds in. But y'all, I am cleaned up. I have nice long sheets of fabric so we don't have to worry about the weeds coming in. And we're going to start redesigning this main garden area. Thanks for hanging out with me as I cleaned out this space, but it's one thing that I'm going to do 3 more times before I'm done in this space and we get it ready for next year. Now, y'all, we still got stuff to harvest. We still got stuff to eat. We still got stuff to plant, right? We're not done. We're just cleaning up where we can to save time for a later date. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, consider subscribing, liking, sharing, watching, all of those kind of good things, and turning on notifications so you know when a new video drops. So until next time, and I hope there'll be a next time that you choose to hang out with me, Kim, at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.